Okay, I want to do one more video describing more on how to bore out our aluminum housing in order to make sure that the bearing is perfectly concentric to the outer diameter of the aluminum meter. So a way to describe this is, first of all, this is a John Deere meter and this is our sample. I have it labeled at top here. You can see the John Deere bearing we have pushed out, and they've machined the center. And they've machined it exactly right as compared to how we have it and we push the bearing in. They machined in such a way that if this screwdriver was the center line of the bored hole, its center line, tip coming out, is perfectly perpendicular to this outer surface going all the way around this meter. I don't know if you can see that. And you can just describe it with the bearing as well. If this bearing is the center line of this bored out hole, it needs to be perpendicular to this surface that runs all the way around the meter. This is critical because if it's not, the plate that mounts onto here will wobble as it turns. You can see this is the assembly that will go into this bored out hole, and it consists of, the samples that we're getting from you. This housing, or this aluminum hub, the plastic meter lock. There is a spring that we're putting inside, and then a cap that holds the spring and the plastic meter lock. This meter hub has a pin that goes through, pull it out here, that goes through the aluminum hub housing into the bearing housing. You can see the hole right in the middle there, and that locks the aluminum hub to the bearing shaft. You can see when this is being pushed in that if it's off, or if this bored out center is not perfectly in line, it can be kinked off to the side a little bit in such a way that the plate will not run perfectly concentric to this, again, this outer diameter. So in summary, the concentricity, of this hole needs to be concentric with this outer surface and this diameter. One other thing I wanted to cover is, you can see on the John Deere sample, in order to make their plastic cover lock in just right, they machined a little groove, or not machined, they made it into their core, a groove, in order for it to fit. You can see how it snaps into place. Compare this to our sample, and it just does not fit. I think the other video described it better. You can see it rides on the surface. So if they would just machine out a groove much like John Deere does right on that tip, it would fit. Again, you can see it. See it right there. Okay, I think that's all I needed to cover at this time. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to call. Thank you.